Hello guys, how are you doing today? This is the 32nd episode of Python tutorial series of Python inheritance. Inheritance allows us to define a class that inherits all the methods and properties from another class. Okay. So parent class is the class being inherited from and also called base class, and child class is the class that inherits from another class, also called derived class. Now create a parent class. Any class can be a parent class, so the syntax is the same as creating any other class. Okay, so create a class named person with first name and last name properties and a print name method. Okay, so class person, as you can see here, def init of self f name l name, self dot first name equals to f name, and self dot last name equals to l name. Now another function, def print name self, print self dot first name comma self dot last name. So first name will be printed, like John will be printed, then after it, since this is a comma, so a space after Doe will be printed. Use the person class to create an object and then execute the print name method. Okay, so x equals to person of John comma Doe and x dot print name. So the print name function under the class person has been called. So John Doe will be printed out. John space Doe. Now create a child class. To create a class that inherits the functionality from another class, send the parent class as a parameter when creating the child class. Okay, so create a class named student which will inherit the properties and methods from the person class. Class student of person colon pass. Use the pass keyword when you do not want to add any other properties or methods to the class. Okay, so how do you inherit this? Quite easy. Student is the child class and you put the name of the parent class inside parentheses. That's how. Now the student class has the same properties and methods as the parent class. Use the student class to create an object and then execute the print name method. X equals to student of Mike comma Olsen, then x dot print name, so Mike space Olsen will be printed out like this. Okay, at the init function, so far we have created a child class that inherits the properties and methods from its parent. We want to add the init function to the child class instead of the pass keyword. The init function is called automatically every time the class is being used to create a new object. Okay, so add the init function to the student class. Class student of person inherits person class colon def init of self comma f name comma l name colon. Now under this you will be adding properties. Okay, when you add the init function, the child class will no longer inherit the parent's init function. The child init function overrides the inheritance of the parent's init function. To keep the inheritance of the parent's init function, add a call to the parent's init function like this. Class student inherit a person colon def init self f name l name. Now person dot init self f name l name. That's how, although you have overridden init function in the child class, you still can call the parents what do you call it, init function. That's what. So let's try it ourselves. Class person def init self fname lname, self dot first name equals to fname, and then self dot last name equals to lname. Now def print name of self, print self dot first name comma self dot last name. Now this is the child class, class student of person, def init self fname lname, but we do not define anything in particular inside the init function of the child class. Instead, we call the parents classes init function, like person dot init of self comma fname and lname. So we get out of the class and x equals to student of Mike and Olsen. So by doing this, what we do first, Mike will be the fname, and Olsen will be the lname in the student init class. Then they will be passed in the parent init function. Mike will be fname and Olsen will be lname. Oh gosh, refreshed. So that fname Mike will now enter the parent init function as fname, and Olsen will enter as lname. After that, self dot first name will be Mike, and self dot last name will be lname. So when you x dot print name method, you will use that. This print name method is not defined in the child class but is inherited from the parent class. So what will be the printout? Self dot first name, which is Mike, will be printed. Then for the comma, a space will be printed, and for self dot last name, Olsen will be printed. Okay, so that's how. Okay, now we have successfully added the init function and kept the inheritance of the parent class, and we are ready to add functionality to the init function. Okay, use the super function. Python also has a super function that will make the child class inherit all the methods and properties from its parent. Class student of person colon def init of self fname comma lname super method dot init fname and lname. Self is not sent like this one, unlike this one. So here super method means the initialization or init method of the parent class. Let's try it ourselves. Class person def init of self fname lname self dot first name equals to fname, self dot last name equals to lname. Now def print name of self, print self dot first name comma self dot last name. Class student person def init self dot fname comma lname super method dot init fname lname. Then outside of the class, x equals to student of Mike comma Olsen and x dot print name. So Mike space Olsen will be printed out. By using the super function, you do not have to use the name of the parent element. It will automatically inherit the methods and properties from its parent. Okay. Now add properties. Add a property called graduation year of the student class. Now definitely we can inherit all the properties and methods from the parent class. Then again, we may choose to add properties and method especially only for this particular child class. And graduation year is such a property. Okay, class student person def init self comma fname comma lname. So super method dot init of f name and l name, and then student's own property self.graduation year equals to 2019, and let's try it ourselves. So class person def init of self f name comma l name, self dot first name equals to f name, and self dot last name equals to l name. Def print name of self, print self dot first name comma self dot last name. Class student a person, def init of self f name l name colon, in the next line super method dot init of f name l name, and self dot graduation year equals 2019. Now x equals to student of Mike Olsen, and print x dot graduation year 2019 will be printed. Okay, so that's all for the 32nd episode of Python tutorial series. See you again in the 33rd.